Have a morning off, sleep in, slowly wander to the convention centre and save the world. No, only joking. So welcome back, everyone. I wanted to just take a moment and set a bit of a scene for the next couple of days. There is no doubt that this weekend is probably weighing heavily on you. The interest has ramped up and commentary's significantly increased, and we're getting to the point in our deliberations where we need to be organising them. In all of that hype, however, your role has not changed. You've been asked to provide advice to the Premier on this remit. Under what circumstances, if any, could South Australia pursue the opportunity to store and dispose of nuclear waste from other countries? At 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, you will be handing your report to the Premier. It'll be complete and you'll be proud of it. It will reflect the room and reflect the breadth of views and perspectives that you hold. Where possible, it will incorporate common ground, and where that can't be found, it will reflect the nuances that you hold. You have the opportunity to explain differences and diversity. And my advice to you, our advice to you, is today to start doing that with clarity and hopefully a little bit of elegance. Juries are all about trust. That's the reason they exist. And the reason that we do them is because what we're seeing is that government don't trust community, community don't trust government. And so juries are a way to help improve that situation, to put aside vested interests and develop sustainable, long-lasting decisions. I wanted to give you a sense of, in that frame, the importance of our role in this. And I know there's been a lot of interest in our drivers. We are here for you. We exist to run this process for you. Our job is to get what you want to say to the Premier on paper to him. There is no one telling us how to get to a certain outcome, nor would we ever let that happen, because our job is to be here for you. What we're going to help you do is write a report that reflects the room. Our job is to help you get your voices heard, and our job is to do that in a way using some facilitation process. In order to do our job well, there are a number of checks and balances that we've got in place. So one of them is the advisory board, who are independent, exist and oversee this process. And let me tell you, they really run us through the mill in terms of legitimacy and authenticity of our process design. We also had a stakeholder reference group there to help with the witness process, which you may think had some flaws, but their job was to make sure that there was a breadth of witnesses available to you and that you could get the majority of your questions answered. We're going to continue to be using these sorts of checks and balances over the next couple of days to make sure that you've got what you need to write this report. In the resource hub, I wanted to draw your attention to that. There are multiple sources. You guys have come in really early this morning, which is great. There is a whole stack of information in that library. There's, which you guys would have seen, you've all been around it. We've got stuff from Richard Dennis, we've got stuff from Mike Young, Friends of the Earth, Committee for Adelaide, ANSTO, CARA, CSIRO, SACOME. There's a report there that's been written by a group of jurors, which I had a look through this morning, which is great. Ian Hall-Lacey, Perceiver, there is a whole lot of community Aboriginal evidence, books, papers, documents. There's information from Conservation Council, Mothers for a Sustainable South Australia. There's a Hansard piece from Mark Parnell. There's a document from Ian Fairley. There's probably more. Huge range of information. You've also got available to you the Tableau document from Colmar Brunton, and hopefully by now you've got to meet Sarah and Naomi. There's Sarah waving. I haven't even said hello to you yet, Sarah. Hello. And today we'll be using all of that information, but it's nearly time for some of the walls to start coming up and for you to turn to each other and go, what is our best advice? There's a very good chance that not all of your questions will get answered by the end of tomorrow, and that's okay. Anyone who's been a juror, particularly our jury oneers, will know the point where they need to get to actually go, right, let's get our best advice together that reflects the room. So congratulations so far. We're here on day 5. We're 2/3 of the way, a little bit more maybe. And we think that you've done a great job so far. We didn't get a chance to read your draft document until during the week, and we were very impressed and excited by it. It has the foundations and the makings of a really good piece of work. So I wanted to congratulate you on that. I also wanted to say that this process has been difficult and complex. The world's largest citizens' jury deliberating on one of the most complex and emotionally charged issues. And it was never going to be simple. We've been breaking new ground on many levels and learning a lot along the way. I also just wanted to wrap up this opening remark by mentioning each other. And I suppose the two main points that I want to make is this sense of a collective that we have. So as individuals, you may not get all the answers, but as a collective, we think you've got a really strong grasp. Draw on each other's skills, expertise, and knowledge. Be kind to yourselves and to your fellow jurors over the coming day and a half of deliberation. Every juror is here under the same premise as you. We're about to hit the hard bit, where conflicting values and strongly held views will come up against each other. Try to be understanding, to listen to understand, and be gentle with each other. Okay, all right. Nick, we wanted to get you just a bit across what we're doing today, and we've got a busy day, a busy half day. I'll keep saying day. The rest of the day is going to be busy. And a reminder of our guidelines, which you know they're yours. You created them. Respect, collaboration, they're gone. Enthusiasm, cooperation. Look after each other. Really just want you to be gentle. Okay, our roadmap, which you've seen before. I keep greying out the bits that we're done. We're in day 5, and we're deep in deliberations today. So the big sort of headline job for today is to start from your draft document and get it into some shape. We want to give you a draft report for you to take home tonight. Sorry, we're not going to give you that. You're going to give you that. And we're going to help you to write that report. What else do we need until I hand over to you? Over to you.
Great.
Okay,
Before I
thanks,
begin, somebody left this in the resource hub. Talking about the resource hub? Great.
Oh,
And
no, we need to do start, stop.
Yep. Do you want to do that, Em?
Sure, while we're
over
doing
to
the handbag. Start, stop, continue. Dun, 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 dun. I need some start, stop, continue music. Gillian, what's on the board?
Here we go. So, under the start heading, you said, some of you have said, please can we have cake or muffins? And we said, they're on the menu.
Yay.
Some of you have said, please allow us to write our own words. We said, go for it. that will happen today and tomorrow. On the stop wall, some of you said, stop controlling the process. We said the process has been designed to allow all voices to be heard and to get to the end point of the report. Some of you said, no more complaints from the same men. We said, let's all make sure we hear everyone's voice today and tomorrow.
Do you want to mention that?
On the continue wall, some of you said, thank you all for being so inclusive. And we said, let's all keep this up today.
Thanks, Jill. Okay, my job now is to set our first task for today, but also give you a sense of what we're going to do over today and tomorrow, because I know you all want to know, how do we get to a final document? So, today, it's two main chunks today. We start with feedback. We know some of you at least have had a really thorough read of the report or document you produced last week. We're going to now spend a good 2.5 hours getting into that and getting your feedback against each of the ideas raised in that document so far. And I'll explain how we do that in a moment. We're then going to have a break. And then after that, you're going to go back and start refining and rewriting what's in the document. So you'll be doing that. We'll be in a different space, a different room where you get to work with the laptops again. That'll take us through to the end of today. So how does this fit in the whole picture? You get about 3 dips at reviewing the report from now on out. You kind of had your first initial dump of ideas at the end of Sunday last weekend. And then dip 1 today is the bit we're going into. You're going to do feedback across each of the key ideas or advice that you came up with last week. And you're then going to get into rewriting. And that produces a draft. Tomorrow morning, we do another dip in the morning where you do, what are the levels of support or comfort for each of those bits of advice? We'll test that. You'll get a sense of the room. You'll get to do that anonymously and you'll get to do that individually. Then you go back and you rewrite based on that feedback. And then we have dip 3 before we finish up tomorrow, and that is where we do a final walkthrough as a whole group. And we start to have a look at whether there's any executive summary or headline statement and each of the bits that fit underneath it. So there's at least 3 dips as we go through today and tomorrow. So let's get into dip 1. Dip 1. We're about to go on what is one of the biggest gallery tours of your history of time. You're going to be segmented into groups of about 25 in the room. Each one of you will get a facilitator that works with you on this. They stay with you throughout the journey over the next couple of hours or more. You're going to visit each of the stations around the room. At each station, we're asking for feedback. Questions like, is this clear? Can I live with it? If I can't, what sort of things would have to change in it? If I've got a dissenting view, what is it? This is the time to get all your thoughts out about these ideas. Don't hold back. Don't say you didn't get a chance to think through how each of these might work and put your voice forward. We're going to keep saying that in each one of our dips as we go through today and tomorrow. We're also going to ask you to think about what powerful evidence or source of evidence you could use. Now, the reason we're doing this, why do we ask that? I said this at the end of Sunday, and that is that we're here to help you make your case strong. We're here to help you make your case. So if you're going to present this to your neighbour, your family, or the Premier, that they're super clear what you want to say and why. Why did you come to that conclusion? The why piece is why we ask for evidence. It doesn't mean you need to know it's line 2, section 54, numeral number 56. You just need to know that there's a source. It might have been a speaker you heard, it might be a document you've read, it might be something, a source that helps you clarify why you're saying this. Okay, we're about to do this in really big rounds around the room. You would have seen we've set up a total of 44. Now, why 44? Originally at the end of Sunday, your document said table 42. And table 24 had 2 tables. So we made table 24, 25, and that pushed all of them after that to table 43. We've included table 44 in case there is something massively missing. Okay, it has to be a big chunk that isn't captured somewhere else, so there's 44. In a moment, I'm going to start asking our facilitators to come out. I'm going to assign you to a facilitator. You're going to be in groups, like I said, of about 25. We're going to start slow-ish with this process, which means you're going to spend in the first half hour about 5 minutes at each sheet. We're going to walk you through this process and we're going to gather the ideas up as we go. But as time moves on, that time shortens a little bit. Reason for that? By the time you get to your 7th board, probably about 150 people have already started to look at that and provided comments. So after a bit more time, it shortens a little bit more. So by the end of 2.5 hours, you'll be exhausted, but you will have got through all of them. The last half hour is going to be fast, because you'll be going through, checking, just saying, yeah, I would agree with the feedback that's said there or not. So it's going to start wider and get shorter.
Nick,
Okay.
Nick,
Yes,
just
Em.
to interrupt you, Jordan has we thought we'd have a little bell just to say time was up, so he was going to do a test bell for us.
Great. So, as I've just said, we've got timing issues as we go through this, because there are 44 ideas and there's 320 odd of us. So when the time is up and time to shift, and your facilitator will help this happen, we'll hear this sound. That sounds like my watch when it goes off in the morning. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do is I've marked out what I think is roughly somewhere around 25 chairs in each settings. This might be a bit messy. I'm hoping my system works. All right, so what I need you to do, there is a mark here. Oh, thanks. There's a mark here. If you look down around here, you'll see a post-it note between some chairs. All these people on this side, Kate is your facilitator. So from that post-it note up to this row here, you're going to be with Ilka. Come out, Ilka.